Hello everyone. In this tutorial, I will discuss the encapsulation. When you have encapsulation, definitely you will have setter or the setter methods. I will discuss this, and also the getter methods. Basically, encapsulation, it refers to a way to restrict the direct access to some components of an object. But before I continue my discussion, please support the channel by clicking on the subscribe button and hit also the notification bell so that you will be notified with all the new videos that I'm going to upload in this channel. And so basically, when we say encapsulation in Java programming, it's like in real life wherein we have a medicine, a capsule, right? So something like this here, wherein the medicine is inside the capsule itself. So it is encapsulated to protect the medicine, all right? So in this manner, we can also relate it to Java programming, wherein the medicine that I'm referring to here in Java programming, those are what we call the member variables. We protect the variables, right? We protect the member variables. Okay, so from direct access from another class, something like that. So there will be no direct access to those variables. All right, so it's something like that. So like I said a while ago, it is a way to restrict direct access to some components of an object. So we have to remember that whenever you design a class, you always create member variables, and then you also create member methods. Again, for you to understand better what is a class and what is an object, I have a video about that, which is in here in this channel, wherein you can watch that first so that you will have a better understanding of what is a Java class and what is an object, all right, as well as what is a method. Okay, so it's all in here. You can just browse the channel, this channel, and watch those videos so that, like I said a while ago, you will have a better understanding of what I'm talking right now here, right? So let's go directly to our discussion now here, encapsulation. So to encapsulate the data variables, or the variables itself, or the member variables, okay, definitely you will create a class. So I already have a class here. I already have an Java main class here, so it is here. I already created it. I also have a Java class here. The name is class1. So class1.java, encapsulation.java. Encapsulation.java, this is our Java main program, and class1.java is the class or Java class. All right, so I'm just going to arrange it. So let's say, for instance, like this. All right, so that you can see both of my codes. All right, so you see now on the left side the Java main class, and on the right side we can see here the class itself, or the Java class itself. All right, so now I have a variable here. It's called name, and I want to encapsulate it. So basically, to encapsulate it, I just need to use the access modifier, that is private. I will just make it private. All right, because if I make it public, that means it can be accessed by any class. All right, if you have another class, like for example here in Java main class, I can directly use it here if it is public. But I make it private so that I am practicing now the encapsulation, meaning to say I don't like other class to use it directly. That's the reason why we encapsulate. All right, so I will make it private because, again, like I said, private, it means this variable can only be used here inside this class only, class 1. All right, I cannot use it in Java main class or in any other class. All right, so this is what we call encapsulation now. All right, so just make it private, and then the data type, and then the variable. So this is a member variable now. right? So again, you have to remember a class will have member variables and member methods, right? Member methods are the functions or the methods that can do something. No? They do something, they return something. Those are the methods. All right. So now, how do we access this? Like I said a while ago, I cannot access name here in another class. All right. But I want it to be encapsulated, but I cannot use it in another class. So how can we access it? All right. I want to put a value for the name here in this Java main class here. Right? Right over here in the Java main class. I want to put a value there for the name, but I cannot access it. Okay? So the solution there, because it is encapsulated, no? Those are encapsulated. The name is encapsulated. So the solution there is by using a setter method, and if you want to get the value, you have to use the getter method. All right? So we have to create a setter method for this name and a getter method for this. All right? Now, you can directly code that. No, it's just a method, right? So these are just a method that you can directly code. Now, fortunately, right? Fortunately, when you are using, or if you are using Netbeans, Netbeans will provide an auto coding, no? Automatic coding for getters and setters. All you need to do is to make it private, and then that's it. All right. So I'm going to press Alt Insert. All right. So let us use the automatic coding of Netbeans. So by pressing Alt from the keyboard, Alt key, and then the insert. There we go. So we just have to use the getter and the setter. All right. So this one will appear, and click getter and setter. I just need to check my field or my attribute or my variable. In this case, I only have one. If you have more than one, you just have to check those. All right. So click generate. And there you go. So NetBeans is a nice IDE wherein it allows you to auto-generate the setters and the getters. All right. So this is what I'm saying a while ago. So we need setter and getter so that we can assign a value. We can use this variable in another class. That's the purpose of the setter and the getter. All right. So it's something like that. So as you can see here, the getter, or what we call assessor, okay, has a return value. So you just have to call this method, getName. All right, so it will return name. The setter, or what we call mutator, all right, this is the syntax now. So you have to call this one with your object. You have to call this one setName, and then you have to supply the new value. All right. So if you want to set a new value, you have to use setter method. If you want to get the value that you set, you have to use the getter method. All right. So it's like that. Now let us practice this one. Let us try to do it, or let's try to use these getters and setters. So I'm going here in my Java main class, and let's create an object. Right? Again, we need to create an object because we need to use the class, right? So we will make an object based on this class. You have to remember, your class is your template. It's your design. All right? Your object will depend on your class. All right? So I'm going to create an object. So based on the class 1, so I'm going to say here class 1, let's call it obj1, all right, is equal to new class 1. There you go. All right, so I have now an object which is called object1 or obj1 based on class 1. All right, now I'm going to set a new value for the name. Let us set a new value for the name, and so I'm going to call it as something like this: obj1 dot set. All right, set name. All right, so it will help you. That's the nice thing about Netbeans. As soon as you type that, then you press the first letter of the method, which is S, set name, and so that's it. This is it. So the syntax is here, so you just have to supply it. Double click, and you have to set. Let's say, let's call it as something like All right, let's call it Mike. So the value of name now, right? The value of name now here is Mike, and I am accessing it here in the Java main class. All right, even though it is private, still I can access it now because of the setter. I want to print it now, right? Let's say I want to print now Mike, the value of name. So to do that, system.out.println, again, you have to use your getter along with your object. So obj1.get, right? So get name, this one here. That's it. And so when we run it now, let me run it now. I'm going to press F6. And so Mike is there. As simple as this. So we use setter to set value, and we use getter to get the value. As simple as that in object-oriented programming. Alright? So if you want, you can also assign it to a variable. I want to get the value of this, the new value of, this one here, name. I want to get the value of that, which is Mike. And I want to store it in a variable. Will that be possible? Yes, it is possible. Let's say, for instance, here, string, let's say x is equal to, I'm going to place here the value Mike here in x. And what I will get it using the object. All right, so obj1 that get name. There you go, this one here. Semicolon. So the value of x now is Mike. So if I'm going to print it now, there you go. So it's like this. So it's possible, no? So we are expecting 2 Mike to be printed now. I'm going to run now, and there you go. We have another Mike there. So you can use this X now to whatever you may think it will be useful. All right. So depending on the problem now, you can use X now. So as simple as that. Okay. So that is what we call encapsulation. Now let us have another one. Let's say, for instance, you will have another variable. Let's say private int age. So let's have a setter and getter. I want to put a value here, age, no? So I want to put a value, let's say 30. Again, because it is private here in the class, so I cannot access this age in another class. For example, here in the Java main class. So I cannot do that, all right? So for me to assign a value for this member variable age here of this class, so I need to have a setter and getter. So again, the shortcut key to pop up the menu for auto coding of setter and getter is Alt Insert. Another way is right click, and you have to go to the insert code here and click getter and setter. Click that one. All right, so this time we have to check age, right, and generate. There you go. Right, so it's like this. Always remember, setters, they have a parameter, while the getters usually they don't have. All right, because they will just return. It's a function or it's a method that returns the value. So it's like that. So we have the getter, we have the setter. All right, so it's like this. And so if I want to assign a value, let's say 30 to the age, to the variable age, to the member variable age here, so all I need to do is to say obj1 that set age, which is this one. All right, and I'm going to assign, let's say 30. All right, so the value of age now, member variable age now is 30. And if I want to print it again, so again, I'm going to say system.out.println. So obj1 that get age. There you go. And so when we run now, I'm going to press F6. There you go. So just like what we did a while ago, we can assign it into a variable. Let's say, for example, here x. So let me do it again. So let's say int, let's say y is equal to obj1 that get age, semicolon, and then let's just print it. If we want to print it, so you can just print it, something like this. And so when we run, so we have 230 now here. And since again we put or we place it in a variable y, the return value of this, because it has a return value, right? This one will return a value. It will return the value of age, which is 30. So I can use this y to another requirement. So let's say, for example, I will use it in arithmetic expression or operation within the program. So you can just do that like that. All right. So you can just do on the next line. So this is what we call encapsulation. So again, the first thing, you have to make sure the variables are in private like that, and then auto-generate the setters and the getters for each variable. All you need to do is to press Alt Insert and choose the getter and setter. Always remember the principle of the setter and getter, and that is to the setters will allow you to set value for the encapsulated variables, and the getters will allow you to get the values of the encapsulated variables. I hope you have learned something new in this tutorial video, and thank you very much for watching, and see you on my next one.